it, and I think it's a really amusing way to watch
Just
it.
the other day,
so
I
we're
was
gonna
doing
watch
a little
this.
Netflix and chill
Are there any
with Bear,
questions?
and what do I find?
Like I said,
Cells
I really want
at
to
work.
recommend.
I promised that I would do a review of this.
I really
probably
want
like a
you
year
guys
and a half
to
ago.
I really
I sort of
recommend
forgot
that you guys
about
write
this,
some of
but
these
now
notes
that it's
down.
on
It's gonna go
Netflix,
pretty
I have no
quickly, so
excuse.
even
So I popped
thank
it
you,
on.
Spencer.
Season
I know, I
1,
saw that.
episode
Oh, no,
1
it's
is right
recording
here.
now, so
it's
it's
called
all good.
pneumococcal. I'm ready. Let's get started.
If you have a piece of paper and a pencil handy, you're going to be writing notes as you watch. Oh my gosh, my words are hard. And it is going to go quickly. So the biggest things I want you to be writing down, are specifically vocabulary words. So whenever you hear the doctor talking about like the vocab words, the different types of cells there are in the immune system, if you want to draw and summarize an outline of the story of what's happening, that's also going to be great. I'll pause and I'm going to talk
It's so funny.
through a
All
little
right,
bit.
so
like
I'm
I
already
do,
starting
and
to piece it together from the
this
intro
doctor's
here
going to
that each
do
one of
as
these
well.
characters
And we're going to have an
represents
opportunity
the
to slow
cells,
down
and
go
each one of these
over
characters is like
But
an
overall, we're
employee
gonna watch this
or
video
has some
and
sort of
hope you
job.
guys
And if they're
enjoy
wearing
it.
red,
And
they're red
if
blood
you did
cells,
like
which
this
it just gave
video,
a
there
great
are
explanation
a
that they
lot of
carry
cells
oxygen and
at
carbon
work videos
dioxide
that are
throughout the
like
body.
this
The fact that
that
they're doing it in
talk about a
packages
lot of
is even
things that we
funnier
learned.
because
So like
that has
they
a medical
have
meaning.
one that's specific to viruses. They have one that's specific to immune cells versus cancer cells. So there's an entire
So the vascular endothelial cells are the cells that line your blood vessels. If they get injured, guess what happens?
Personally. Okay?
Oh!
All right. Are there any questions in what we're doing for today's lesson?
Oh, they curse here too.
Questions. Hi, Emmett. Thanks for joining us. All right. Let's go ahead and get started.
Wow.
Cells at work. I promise that you will review this pretty year. So that's why this is now that is on Netflix. I have no excuse. So after our season 1 episode 1 is right here.
Oh, I was just going to ask you. Yes, it is. I was just going to ask you what this is supposed to represent. I gave the answer away. So this is the red blood cell. Now, we just talked about this. What is the package that this red blood cell is holding? What is it called? What's the protein inside red blood cells that carry condensed air, specifically called oxygen? What is that protein called? Hemoglobin. Yes, we got it. It is called hemoglobin. Yes, so that's exactly what this blood cell is carrying. Great. Let's continue.
Okay, so this is interesting because there's one there's a white blood cell part of the neutrophil means that he's attacking a bacteria. Neutrophils primarily work against bacteria.
Okay, so I want to pause right there. So if you haven't had a chance, write this down, right? Neutrophils are white blood cells that specifically kill bacteria. So we are talking about a bacteria coming into the body. Okay, so this is a little different. This is how it is different in how a virus would be affected. And we do have the virus video in here, so we could watch it after this, right? Yeah, I know it's really cool. I love it. So we can do that after this video if we have time, which we should have time. But yeah, so make sure that you're writing neutrophils are white blood cells that specifically kill bacteria. Okay. All right, let's continue.
Obviously, the most important is oxygen. The white blood cells
So he just said that the white blood cell count can be high or low, and that's important to know. Why? How do you think that number of white blood cells could indicate whether there's an infection or not? What do we think? So we know that there's white blood cells and red blood cells that are circulating all the time, right? That's what the doctor just told us. So if there are more white blood cells than average, what do you think that means? Why would we need more white blood cells? Yeah, okay. So yes, we need more white blood cells because you need them to keep living, but like let's say what is a purpose as to why they might they might call like, "Hey, white blood cells, come over here. I need you," to kill bacteria, right? So Ava, exactly. So sometimes we have a heightened number of white blood cells, and that indicates that there is some sort of infection. There's some sort of invasion, right? Reinforcements needed, exactly what I was going for. So if we have more white blood cells, oftentimes that means that we need more to fight off an infection, or in this case, an invasion. So what's the opposite of that? If we have too low of a number of white blood cells, what could that possibly mean? What could it mean if we have too low? Okay, so, but the doctor did just mention, right? So the response was we don't need them as much. But the doctor just mentioned that when he's looking at the total blood count, right, the complete blood count, that there's not enough to kill the bacteria, right? If there's too low of white blood cells, there's not enough to kill the bacteria, which means what? If we were to think about this in the term of an army, right, just like how this video is showing, what is the what if there's not enough white blood cells, that means what? It means that well, maybe not necessarily it means that you die, but it means that the bacteria is winning, right? That means that there's more bacteria than what the white cell can, or virus than what the white cell can kill off. So it means that they've actually hurt your immune system more. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, really quickly, what is she carrying and what is she looking for? Yeah, she's carrying air to the lungs, right? She's going to the lungs. And what is she specifically carrying to the lungs? Carbon dioxide, exactly. So is this blood cell trying to go from the heart to the body or from the body to the heart or to the lungs? We learned about this last week. If she's carrying carbon dioxide to the lungs, is she going from the lungs to the body or the body to the lungs? Carbon dioxide is considered what when we breathe? What is carbon dioxide? Where does it come from? Okay, so what do you mean by that? Air. What does air mean, right? Remember that air is really just a mixture of gases. So when we talk about our bodies, we don't just have air in our bodies. We have gas, which I know sounds like it's the same thing, but it's not. Okay, so the air is around us, outside of our body, and it's a mixture of different gases. So we've got nitrogen, methane, we've got oxygen, we've got carbon, and phosphorus. And so these, actually, I don't know if phosphorus is in there. Those main four. And so that's what makes up the air around us. But when we breathe, we're not breathing all of those gases in. I mean, they're going down our trachea and down to our lungs, but only one specific gas is being diffused into our lungs. What is the specific? Oh, thank you, Owen. I didn't know that. So it is nitrogen, oxygen, and a little bit of argon. I didn't know that. So specifically, when we're breathing, what is being diffused into our cells? What do we need to survive? What do we need? Oxygen. Good. And then when we breathe out, what are we breathing out? Carbon dioxide. And carbon dioxide is what? Where does it come from? Right? Where do we find that carbon dioxide that we breathe out? What is it of? It's a result of what? What's the whole reason we breathe? There's one sole purpose that we breathe. Cellular respiration. Absolutely. We breathe in oxygen specifically so that our cells can break down glucose into usable energy known as ATP. And so carbon dioxide results as what when it comes to cellular respiration? It's a byproduct or waste, right? And so when we exhale, we're bringing that carbon dioxide back to the lungs so that we breathe it out. Okay.
Since carbon dioxide, we back to the lungs, so what says waste. Bacteria. Platelets are the white blood cells that actually clot, and so the clotting process, as you clot together, so the clotting process, so you're gonna clot, it's your platelets that are responsible for stopping.
I believe somebody asked about the platelets in the chat. So there you have it. They did include the platelets. Remember that the platelets are specifically designed to clot your cuts. It's what causes you to stop bleeding. Of course, depending on how deep the cut is going to determine whether or not the platelets can do its job. So that's why if you get a really deep or big cut or gash, you may require stitches or staples to hold the skin together to allow for, does anyone remember the process that our body goes through to create identical cells in this case of a wound? Anybody remember? I showed you guys my hand when I had a burn last quarter, and mitosis, yes. Oh my gosh, awesome job. Transcription, remember, Emmett, is specifically for proteins, making proteins. But when we just want to create that wound, it actually, I have a scar now. It's really bad. My scar is like pretty nasty. That was all mitosis, just making replicated cells, the same DNA, doing the same job, everything. So good job. I'm so proud. Really quickly, I want to point out that lymphocytes, okay, we have these things called lymphodes. And lymphocytes are specific areas in your body where white blood cells and T cells can come out really quickly. And so, for example, we have some lymph nodes on our armpits, actually. We have some lymph nodes in our neck. And we have some lymph nodes in other locations. I just can't remember where they are at this moment. But these are specific, it's like a shortcut. It's like exactly what this show is explaining, these tunnels that kind of allow the T cells to get to places quickly and arrive when we need them. Right? So remember that there are different types of cells within the immune system. So specifically, we have the white blood cells, right? So that's kind of like the first line of defense. And then we've got something called the T cells and the killer T cells, which is exactly what we're about to learn. And they are a little bit more aggressive when it comes to trying to get rid of invaders such as viruses and bacteria.
This is so much pathophysiology right now. This is like a problem. The fact that you talk about this in your hemolytic, the nature of it, go after the red blood cells, is something that happens.
So he just said that they're hemolytic. So the pneumococcus, I cannot say it, the pneumococcus, the bacteria, it means that they have this protein hemoglobin in them as well, right? So the killer T cells are going to be identifying anything that has this hemoglobin, which even means the red blood cells. So that's why when you get sick, you can also get weakened while your body is fighting it for a number of reasons. Oh, Spencer, I paused it right now. Has it been frozen the whole time, or I have paused it in this moment? Can you hear me? Okay. Okay, Spencer. It's supposed to be the spot where the T cells just came out, and there's a bunch of them standing in a row in front of the red blood cell. Yeah, Spencer, try refreshing or logging out and logging in. Oh, and is that what you see on your screen? Okay, cool. All right, let's see. All right, Spencer, you're back. Is it good now? All right, I'm going to start playing. You let me know.
The chapter is so good.
We just learned about that last week. I get so excited.
A great anatomy moment inside cells at work. Yes.
So it seems like there's some people who had to start over and everything. So I'm going to give you guys the link to this video in the chat. And we still have about 30 minutes. So I want to talk about this for a second. So a couple of things that I'm going to have you guys do. I'm going to be putting you guys into breakout rooms. Now, apparently, whenever I do this, I always end up losing 4 to 5 students. So I'm really going to encourage you, if you hear me say that I'm putting you out in a breakout room, I really want to encourage you to stick around, okay? That we're going to come back to the main group, we're going to talk, and we're going to watch another one of these videos, especially because it seemed like, I don't know, I enjoyed it. And I want to learn a little bit more about viruses specifically to prepare us for our small group this week. But I really, really, really want to challenge you that if you feel uncomfortable or if you feel nervous about joining a small group, I'm really going to ask that you stick through it, because it's so important to not just watch this and listen to me and the doctor, but for you to have an opportunity to discuss this as well. Just a little bit about neuroscience and the process of learning and learning how to learn. Part of the learning process is not only about to, not only is it to practice explaining, but when you can explain something, you first need to understand it. So when you practice explaining and you practice trying to verbalize what you just watched or what you just learned, that is actually creating more neurons, more pathways in your brain. And it creates this ability to put information from just short-term memory into the longer term. You're processing, just like if you were to download something into a computer for it to be saved into the hardware, you need to first process it. And then you need to open it, right? And then when you open it and you're using it is when it starts to be saved more, right? And that's what happens in our brain as well. So if your first reaction is to leave as soon as I put you in the group chats or into the breakout groups, then I really encourage you to, stick through it and talk about it instead. But what I want you guys to talk about, I want you guys to take what you just learned in this video and try to explain it in your own words. And you can do this together. Okay, so you guys have access to the whiteboards and you can even draw things together if that makes it easier. Okay, so it shouldn't just be verbally. You should also be using the whiteboards in your breakout rooms. So I'm going to put you in your breakout rooms. There's about 14 people here. So I'm going to make, let's see, 14. I want 3 people. So that's about, people help me. That's almost 5 groups. So 4 groups. Gonna give you guys, let's see, I'm gonna give you guys about 10 minutes to do this, okay? All right, great. Okay. just getting charger. They're in breakout. Okay, so let's hear from the groups really quickly. Can I have one person per group kind of tell me what they noticed, or tell me, or you know what, let's not have it one person per group. Let's just have some people go ahead and tell me what are some things they noticed in the video and connections they can make to our immune system. And I'm glad, Ava, I think it is too. I loved this video when I watched it. I thought it was like, I was like, yes, I must show this to my students. So tell me some connections. What are some things that you took away from this video that are now going to help you understand the immune system a little bit more this week? Just throw out even some characters, right? What were some characters that we saw in this video? Okay, good. Yeah, there were white and red blood cells. What's the relationship between the two? Right? So, like, what are red blood cells? What are white blood cells? And what are the differences between the two? Yeah, bacteria, Ava. We saw that there was a bacteria invasion, right? Good. Good. Yes, I learned that platelets were part of the immune system and not something else. Well, remember that, yes, platelets are a part of the immune system. They are right there with the blood cells, and they are the ones that clog up your wounds that keep you from bleeding, right? Good. What else? They had to defend it to get rid of the bacteria. Exactly. They have to like fight it, right? They have to find ways to expel the bacteria. And at the end of this, what was one of the ways that they expelled the bacteria? A sneeze, exactly. Yeah. So sometimes you're sneezing or coughing out bacteria and viruses, right? And yep, they sneezed it out. And that's one way that we can get rid of these bacteria. We have mucus that lines our navel cavities, that lines our throat, right? So why do you think we have mucus in our throat and in our nose? What's the purpose of having that mucus? What happened to that bacteria cell? How did it get rid of it when it sneezed, right? To catch the bacteria. That's the whole purpose of why we have mucus. Well, in those areas, we have mucus lining our stomachs as well to protect the stomach cells from the acidic nature of our stomachs. But when we're talking about our nasal cavities, when we're talking about our nose, right? When we have a stuffy or runny nose. We know that it can be runny if it's cold out. We know all these things, but specifically when we get a cold and we're really stuffy and we're coughing and sneezing all the time, why? What's happening? Why is our nose so stuffy and we have to blow our nose all the times and we're sneezing all the time, right? When we get a common cold, why is that happening? It's going to be so much fun the next time anybody gets a cold. So this is what you're going to think of. Because it's cold and allergy season. Okay. And if it's cold and allergy season, what does that mean? So we had just said that the mucus, right, is what catches the bacteria. So if you have a lot of mucus and you are sneezing a lot and you're stuffy, what do you think that means for our bodies? Oh, you guys know this. I know you guys know this because they're trying to fight off the cold. Yeah, we're trying to fight off the cold. So if we're trying to fight off the cold, what does that mean? See, I'm trying to breaking it down. So what we're learning about. So if we're trying to fight the cold off, what's happening in our bodies? What's happening in our bodies if we're trying to fight the cold off? And we're trying and we're getting, we just said that the bacteria got taken out of the body simply because they sneezed. If we're sneezing a lot, if we're really stuffy in our nose, right? And we're trying to fight off the cold, what does that mean? What's happening in our bodies? What are we learning about today? You guys got this. I know you know it. It's just a matter of someone speaking up. Immunity, exactly. Our immune system is working, right? We just watched a whole video about how the immune system is exactly, the white blood cells are fighting the bacteria, exactly. And as you saw, some of the white blood cells tried to push that bacteria into the mucus. So the next time that you have a stuffy nose or the next time that you sneeze and you have a cold, you're going to think of that bacteria that we just watched in the video and all the stuffiness, right? All of the stuffiness, all the mucus that we get in our nose is just a bunch of caught bacteria. It's like bacteria that's stuffed in a mucus like trap and now can't get out, right? And then you sneeze it out, or you blow your nose and you blow it out. And that is your immune system at work. And that the next time you have a cold, I bet you're going to think of that pneumococcus that is stuck in all of your mucus in your nose. And that's what you're going to think of. And I can't wait for you to like sit there and be like, Miss Fierstein, now I can't think of anything else up in my nose. And it's going to be great. I love it. Okay, what is this video? Let's see. So we have about 7 minutes left in this video that I was going to show you. Aha, yes. Yes, great. So we have enough. We can watch this. Do you guys want to watch this more than the Cells at Work episode for the virus? That one is about 13 minutes long, and we only have 7 minutes. So I don't, whichever one. Which one would you rather? The Cells at Work or the another Kurz's Got video? Okay. I think the video is there. The video is there for you. It also does a wonderful job. These videos are great. Those videos are great at explaining things. So that is there for you. And then I'm going to play the virus for Cells at Work. And then I will also put the link for all of these videos. Okay, so let me go ahead and Kurz's Got. I can't pronounce it. It's the one that we watched when we were learning about the coronavirus, and you guys were all very excited about it. But we'll watch a little bit more of this class. Thanks, Nick.
These are infections.
So I'm going to leave us right here because we only have a couple of minutes. But I love this channel, and now I want to watch all of them. But it is, yeah, so I put the video link to this video in the chat. I'll do it again. And then, Owen, will you put that other video link in the chat that you put up earlier from the Kurzgesagt video of immune systems? But I really encourage you to watch these videos because I think that they're going to be, thank you, Owen, if you watch the videos from today, if you watch this video, and if you watch the video that Owen put into the chat, you're going to be more than prepared for small group when we learn about the COVID virus, or excuse me, the COVID vaccine and how it works in our bodies, okay? So thank you so much for joining me today. It was a pleasure. I really enjoyed this video, so I really hope that you did as well. But have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. If I don't see you in small group this week, then I will see you in after spring break. Okay, so don't forget that we have a couple of changes to the pacing guide as well, and have a wonderful spring break. Bye, everyone. You're very welcome. Thank you for